John here from NoJokeNHL, here with our Eastern Conference Series previews, resuming with the 3-seed New York Rangers taking on the 6-seed, I'm sorry, the 3-seed Washington Capitals taking on the 6-seed New York Rangers. I had that backwards there for a second. And, of course, Washington holding home ice advantage, which in the Stanley Cup playoffs amounts to almost nothing in some cases. But it may come into play here in this series as the Capitals play very well at home. The Washington Capitals, of course, coming into this season with a brand new head coach, Adam Oates. They also lost a couple players, or let some players go to free agency, namely Alexander Semin to the Carolina Hurricanes. And so it made perfect sense when these Washington Capitals started off the season relatively slow, putting together a few losing streaks. Braden Holtby and Michael NYR, whichever goaltender was in goal, looked awful. Gave up a ton of goals and stuff like that. But all of a sudden, you could tell after about two to 3 weeks into the season that this Capitals team was starting to pick up Adam Oates' system, and we're starting to play the defense in front of him as Holtby started to pick up his thing. I jumped on a futures play on the Capitals back at the end of February, where I picked up 55-1 to win the Cup, 20-1 to come out of the East, and I also picked up a couple nice futures on the division when they were 3rd or 4th in the division behind Winnipeg and Carolina. I got them at 8-1 and 9-1 to win the division at that time, and so of course those worked out rather well. The Washington Capitals have really put it together and have played exceptionally well. They have 21 wins since March 1st, compared to the Rangers, who have 16 wins in that same time frame. Now, the Rangers did come home pretty strong. They were 5-5, 5-5, and 7-3. So it's at 12 and 8. 12 and 8 coming home the last 20, whereas the Capitals, I believe, were the 15 and 5. So, so if we look at them together, the Rangers did come home, in a decent fashion. The thing that's really making me go against the Rangers here, and you notice I've changed from my Capitals hat because I don't want to be considered a homer. I mean, I kind of blend into the teams, local teams here. I have a Ravens hat on today. I wear a Capitals hat around. But I'm really not a homer from any sense. If I was a homer to anybody, it would be the Chicago Blackhawks, where I grew up. So I'm really not a homer in any sense, especially once I started, handicapping and investing in sports. You really can't afford to be, bet with your heart at all, or follow your heart in any way. But the Washington Capitals really impressed me here. And I look for them to, like I said, it's a tough matchup with the Rangers, but I think they're up to it. Tortorella is, in my opinion, a big, giant douche. And he's an effective big, giant douche, just like Mike Keenan used to be. I lived in Philadelphia when Mike Keenan was coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. I loved it when he went to the Chicago Blackhawks and they made a Cup final run to lose against Pittsburgh. But the bottom line is that when you're a douche and you treat your players bad and you talk about them behind their back and talk about players to the media, yeah, sometimes that motivates players and they get up and they play better. But at the same time, sooner or later you just run the end of your rope. And I think Tortorella is really running at the end of his rope. They released Gaborik and they brought in Broussard and Clough, and that should help, mainly because they probably haven't totally figured out how much of an a-hole he is. But I really don't see the Rangers putting together a solid Cup run. I know some very respected people on Twitter, So Money Sports, and other people are taking them to win the Cup in the East. And I can't fault you when you look at the talent on paper. That's what it is. But with the intangibles, with the way Tortorella and the way this team performs, the Rangers have a couple bad losses. You lose 3-2 to the Florida Panthers. You lose 4-2 to the Flyers. They've had a couple really bad losses. Matter of fact, Florida won all of 7 games, and 2 of those wins were against the New York Rangers. Now, I'm not saying that, lucky for the Rangers, they're not playing Florida in this series, but as I'm saying, that the Rangers, just like I said, are they check in and out mentally an awful lot. The other thing that's really interesting about the Capitals, and I don't think people are really giving them a credit, I've read a couple reviews where people start throwing Ovechkin and other stars under the bus. The thing is, Bruce Boudreau was here, and then they brought in Hunter last year, and they really didn't relate to this star. Adam Oates is a guy that can coach. If you haven't figured out that Adam Oates can coach, let me be the first to tell you that he can coach. And part of the angle, and somebody pointed out, I just heard it at, after the regular season ended, and it makes perfect sense. Adam Oates was the center playing with Brett Hall. So he kind of understands that sniper, elite scorer mentality. And if you've noticed, like I said, Ovechkin has flourished. He's the top goal scorer in the league, and he's you can see he's having fun. He's motivated. He's playing defense. And, to be honest with you, I think Oates has solid control over this team. I'm not saying they're a walk in the park to get through. They're going to have their hands full, certainly in this Rangers series. They'd have their hands full against the Penguins, no doubt. They'd have their hands full against almost anybody. I think that's the way the East is competitively. But I'm looking for the Capitals to come out and, justify my future plays. Like I said, if they go down in flames, oh well. They had the limit set so low at 55-1 on them anyway. So I'm not really going to be losing a chunk of change. However, it's going to be a serious investment that I'd like to probably hedge if I can get to that point where I'm at playing. But like I said, I already have some futures sitting from them winning the division. So I'm going to say I'm going to say the Capitals win this. I'm going to say that they win it in 5 or 6. Everybody's predicting a 7-game series. To be honest with you, I'm hoping the Capitals can come out, smack the Rangers in the mouth, and then they never recover, and just go through there. I think the Capitals are tough enough. I think they have enough offensive punch and firepower. I'd probably give the edge to Lundqvist, just his career and experience and things like that. But Braden Holtby's been playing solid hockey. He certainly played solid hockey last year. Just think about it. These two teams met last year in the second round, and basically, the Capitals extended them to 7 games last year, and lost in a close affair in Game 7. And now the Capitals have certainly improved from where they were last year, whereas the Rangers have fallen from the number 1 seed now down to the number 6. So, all things being equal, that puts the Capitals in a better space here. And so, like I said, I understand why people are going with the Rangers. They're kind of a sexy pick. They do have a lot of talent on paper. Picking up Rick Nash was huge. They're kind of the league darlings. There's a reason why they negotiate. The strike and everything in New York, and crazier stuff has happened in sports. But I'll tell you right now, if you're looking at teams on paper, this Capitals team is live and dangerous here, and I'm going to take them. The money's starting to favor the Rangers in the series. It was a 110 both ways. Now it's minus 115 on the Rangers. Like I said, I'm probably going to look to take the Capitals maybe in 5 or 6 games here, on the exact games when that comes out tomorrow, I guess, since they're not playing until Thursday. But I think the Capitals are a solid investment here, and I'm going to be backing them in the first game. Definitely on minus 1.5 as well, because they can put the puck in the net. All right, so that's the 3-6. We'll be back with Toronto, Boston, the 4-5, and that'll wrap up the series plays. And then what I'll probably do is put a video out later today, around 5 o'clock, talking about my first round plays and some investment strategies and things like that, moving into the thing. And as of right now, we're almost about 8 hours away from puck drop, so definitely excited. And as always, let's make some money.